attach that to my PC. After that, what I want to do is start getting started with the whole thing. So the thing is, when I talk about my kids and my kids said that I'm a nerd, and actually what they needed to say, I'm an engineer, and engineers does something like coding, so they didn't know this part. So they asked me, Dad, so if you're not a nerd, what do I do? So I said, yeah, well, I'm in a company, I run a team that is doing programming. And after that, I realized, like, I have 4, 5, and 6 years old kids over there, and look at me like stupid. What do you mean? What's programming? So I try to explain to them that, okay, programming is you have some states and rules, and you are moving to one state to another based on those rules. That's programming, right? So, for example, we have a rule. If you have your dirty socks on the floor, you need to pick those up and take them to the laundry basket. If you don't do that, well, in terms of coding, you get an exception, because Dad is going to be really mad, right? If you do that, you have a scenario that is actually ended up in the right way. So, using Kodu is something I use the same user interface as most of the students and young kids know, or non-technical people get to know really easy. What I'm doing, I'm going to load a new world, and I'm going to pick up an empty world over there and play that empty world. So now what I'm seeing is actually a world which is totally empty. So what I need to do first, I need to get started and build up something for the ground. So let's just build just a little bit of ground over there. Okay? Let's zoom in, go on over there. Next, I need some characters over there. So let's add a character called Kodu. Everything what I do is visual selections from the tree, right? So I don't need to know anything else that, okay, that's my guy, I want to do something with this guy, right? Okay, let's move the cursor underneath the guy, so since it's 3D, it looks like it's not underneath, but it is. I'm picking up the Y letter from my button over here, and after that, I'm in the mode that I'm going to do some programming. Since if I'm not doing any programming and I run this application, I can just move around my cursor, but nothing happens. So I want to do some serious programming. So let's go over there. Let's say some conditions. When the dirty socks are on the floor, or actually somebody is touching the gamepad, let's take. In that case, I want to have this guy moving really quickly. All right? Let's go. Okay, now I can move around my guy. Right? So now I understand the concept. Something happens over here, something needs to happen over there. Let's go forward. I want to add something like apples. Let's not do that over there. Let's take another apple and the third apple over there. Okay, now I'm going to the code again. If I bump into an object that is an apple, I want to get game scores. Oh, let's not go over there. For 10 points. Let's try it. Now I'm going over there and I'm going to my apple and I got 500 points for one apple and it didn't disappear. Alright, I have a bug. I just said if I bump it, I get points. So what to do? Okay, I need to change something in my program. If I bump to the apple and also, when I bump it, I want to also eat it, right? So now that I'm starting the application, I get only 1 point, right? Okay, you get the picture. And now what I can also do is go into my Kodu guy over here, and there. There we go. Go to the last one. When the scores are not those ones on 20, I will win the game. 10 points for me, and hopefully, okay, I won the game. So within this small time, I went through with the concept of something. There's some rules, there are conditions, and what is programmed, right? We did a test. Actually, when this was in beta phase and it wasn't public, I gave this application to my son, who was 6 years old at that time. He didn't know a word of English. It took 2 hours to him to figure out how to build a game, and he actually built the game. This kind of game that you can actually eat those apples. They did another test with micro research, and the test included the teams of young students, or kids actually, and those kids were separated into teams, and one of those teams built up an application where there was 2 trees on this side, 2 trees on that side, an apple in the middle, 10 blue guys over this side, 10 red guys on that side. All of these guys were running towards the apple, and also the other guys were running towards the apple. These guys were kicking the apple on that side, and these guys were kicking that over there. And they pretty much built it up, and football simulated, or soccer simulated, if we want to be clear with that one. So, thinking about that, those kids were also 6 to 8 years old. We did a test in Finland. We had non-technical teachers in a workshop, and we introduced this for them in 15 minutes. And then they had about half an hour time to build up a game, and we couldn't get rid of them. They didn't want to leave at all. And when we started, I said, we are going to do programming today, and not any programming, we're going to do game programming. And they were really scared before they tried this out. So that's just an example that how you can change the approach to learn new stuff. And if you are building a concept of game, that's a pretty easy way to actually build up that game, and at the same time that you're having really easy way to actually use the interface with the game back. All right. Then we probably try to move on to this side and press something.